This isn't just a story. It's the anatomy of a spiritual heist. It's what it feels like when something in your life doesn't want you to grow. You can't explain the fatigue. You can't name the source. But you can feel your light thinning, day by day. It's the quiet exhaustion of being drained by people who smile at you, people who speak your name, but leave you feeling smaller every time they walk away. Not everyone who enters your life arrives with good intentions. Some connections aren't here to love you. They're here to harvest you. The shift doesn't come with noise. It doesn't come with a fight. It comes when you stop blaming yourself for the weight and start noticing who benefits from you staying heavy. I had to learn that my peace was more important than their proximity. This is what it looks like when you stop being accessible to what was quietly breaking you. You don't have to explain the distance. You don't have to justify the silence. You just have to become untouchable. And what follows is what that truth looked like from the inside. It is the record of a war fought in the quiet and the blueprint of my own confinement. I had to name the shadow before I could command it to leave, to realize that surviving the theft was only the beginning of my sovereignty. This is the sound of the chains falling, one link at a time. Bloodline Reversed marked before a name was known, not by blood, but by shadow. Before a single word could form on the tongue, an oath had already been whispered against it. A woman cloaked in darkness, draped in an energy that felt both ancient and alive, leaned close in dream and said, "Your light will stretch too far, and I will block it. You will rise, and I will strike. You will dream, and I will bruise." At first, it was only whispers in sleep, faint footsteps in corridors no one had built. Then came the bruises, marks without memory, pain without source. The body spoke what the mouth could not, that something unseen was feeding on the spirit. Sleep became dangerous. Night became a place of negotiation. To rest was to risk being claimed. So rest became rationed, and daylight became a shield. The woman wore many faces, sometimes kind, sometimes silent, sometimes disguised as help. But behind each mask lived the same intention, to choke the breath before it could become sound. Prayers were whispered through trembling lips. Fasts were held in faith. Songs became weapons. Words became armor. Silence became strategy. Until one night, clarity arrived. Not as peace, but as fire. The veil fell, and what stood there was not one woman, but a vessel. Behind her, others, real faces, real names, carrying the same shadow into daylight, speaking sabotage as if it were concern, twisting kindness into confinement. They built rumors, they made sickness, they made silence around the name. And when silence wasn't enough, they fed on attention, draining what light remained. Yet still, the spirit endured. No retaliation, no exposure, only distance. And in that distance, revelation bloomed. This scroll is not about her face. It is about the unveiling of one's own. It is about the moment when a soul realizes that the enemy was never only outside, but also the echo of every inherited wound, every unhealed curse, every silence passed down like an heirloom. The body once bore the memory of battle, fatigue that defied science, bruises that told no story, heaviness that no doctor could weigh. Some called it illness, some called it weakness, but deeper eyes knew it was a theft of life force, a spiritual famine disguised as fatigue. Through exhaustion came awakening. Through silence came sound. Through separation came sovereignty. Creation became resistance. Writing became exorcism. Singing became restoration. The curse faltered each time truth found rhythm. Clarity did not arrive as light, but as the kind of fire that purifies. It revealed the pattern, the theft, the echo, a lineage of sabotage collapsing under awareness, and yet vengeance never felt holy. Justice redefined itself, not as punishment, but as restoration, safety, sovereignty, transmission. The message remains simple and sharp. Those who attack may only be vessels. Those who suffer may only be remembering. And those who awaken, they become mirrors the darkness cannot stand. This is a medicine scroll, written for anyone haunted by silence, weighed down by unseen wars, drained by shadows that wore familiar faces, and still, somehow, chose to heal. For those who recognize the pattern, no further explanation is needed. And even though I know you are already doing what is necessary to break free from the ties of the past, from generational curses and inherited burdens, I commend that courage. Still, I am not your mirror. I am not your wound. I am the one who saw the veil fall and walked away to write this. After the veil fell, the real battle began, the one no one could see. Some battles leave no visible scars, yet they shape an entire life. This is the unmasking of one of them. Perhaps that is the hardest lesson of all. Not every battle ends with an enemy. Not every wound leaves someone to blame. Because if those who attack are only vessels, then perhaps the deeper question is not whether they deserve our hatred. Perhaps the deeper question is whether they deserve our time, our energy, and our attention. For too long, I believed freedom would arrive through answers, through understanding, through finding the missing piece that would finally make everything make sense. But healing asked something different of me. It asked me to stop waiting for apologies that may never come, to stop waiting for awareness that may never awaken, to stop waiting for people to become who they should have been. Because some people will never understand the damage they caused. Some will never acknowledge it. Some will never even see it. And if we build our future around the hope that they will change, we risk spending our entire lives standing still. We risk missing opportunities that were meant for us. We risk postponing joy, postponing peace, postponing life itself, all while waiting for a version of someone that may never exist. That is a heavy price to pay for a hope that was never ours to carry. At some point, the soul must make a decision, not between remembering and forgetting, but between remaining attached to the wound or becoming devoted to the healing. Because healing is not the end of the journey. Healing is the beginning of living. And perhaps that is what growing gracefully has always meant. Not pretending the challenges never happened, not denying the battles, not minimizing the pain, but choosing again and again to rise beyond it. Life will always present new levels, new lessons, new obstacles, new opportunities to grow. The challenges will come whether we invite them or not, but we still get to decide what happens next. We can allow those challenges to define us, or we can allow them to refine us. We can surrender to them, or we can overcome them. That choice remains ours. Perhaps that is the greatest freedom of all. This space is not for everyone. It was never meant to be. It is for those who choose depth over noise, who feel more than they speak, and who understand things without needing them to be explained. If you've made it this far, something in you already knows why. You recognize the medicine in these words because you've had to heal from wounds that were not always visible. You understand what it means to carry a burden in silence. You understand what it means to keep walking when nobody sees the effort it takes. Not everything needs to be followed. Some things are simply returned to, a reminder, a lesson, a truth that arrives exactly when it is needed. So stay where your spirit feels steady. Protect your peace. Protect your light. Protect the parts of yourself that fought so hard to survive. And when life asks you to grow again, answer with courage. When life asks you to let go, answer with trust. And when life asks you to begin again, answer with grace. Because healing is not the destination. Living is. And there is still so much life waiting for you beyond the wound. So keep growing. Keep choosing yourself. Keep choosing peace. And come back whenever you need to remember who you are. And this is growing gracefully.